Okay, number 6, you unconsciously mimic people you like. Absolutely. I've done that my whole life. Even after my brain has like been quote unquote fully developed, I still notice whoever I'm around, I can tend to kind of gravitate towards and kind of mimic, or you start sounding like people, or like married couples that end up having similar mannerisms and stuff like that. Like I think you just kind of birds of a feather that, or maybe it's like a monkey see monkey do type thing. But this says that this is called the chameleon effect. You might copy someone's posture, tone, or gestures without realizing it. It helps build social bonds. I definitely think that's a thing. I don't know, chameleon effect or like mirroring, because and I think women are probably especially good at this, but like if somebody's sharing something really heavy or emotional, like women, want to lean in, and then we kind of end up mimicking, or like our bodies line up, and our faces will kind of match the emotion of whatever's on the face of the person in front of us. I definitely think that's a good thing. And I do think it would help to build social bonds. And I definitely notice myself doing it quite frequently. Okay, what else do we have? First impressions form in seconds. Yes, we know that to be true. Within a few seconds of meeting someone, your brain has already built a rough character profile. Updating the first impression later is surprisingly hard. I'm only like fully sold on this because I do think that Robert Greene has written about this quite frequently, or maybe not frequently, but in depth. In I think the 48 Laws, he had a chapter on first impressions, and basically if somebody perceives you in one way or another, it's very, very hard to rewrite that, and you can use that to your advantage, but be careful because it could also be to your detriment. And I think it was like basically making the point that like if somebody perceives you as an honest person, it takes quite a bit of dishonesty for them to want to rewrite. And part of that is because they don't want to be wrong about their first impression. If I have perceived you as a good person, and after a great deal of time I realize that you're not only am I like, oh man, that sucks, you're a garbage human, I'm also sitting there having to say I was wrong. And humans hate that. What we hate, and maybe this is another like especially women thing, but we absolutely hate having to say the words I was wrong, or furthermore, you were right. Like anything saying I got that incorrect, I don't think we like that. Like there's something to that is, maybe like a psychological thing, like a prideful thing. Maybe it's something that was built into us for some kind of evolutionary benefit, but whatever the case, we hate it. Like hate saying the words I was wrong. I don't particularly love it. I will say I've been hyper aware of that for a long time. Like I know many people who will never admit that they're wrong. It's very abrasive, and I don't like it at all. And so I've actually tried to overcompensate the other direction. Just, anytime I was wrong, I'll call it out. I've done that with a few things. Now, this is just an aside, but I've done that with jealousy. And this is where I have my absolute best friend to thank for this, because there was one time, it was my birthday years ago, and I'm sitting at the dinner table with like all my closest girlfriends. We brought up this couple, this super hot couple that we all just can't stand because we're all super jealous of them. And we're like dogging on them, just like bitchy people do. And what my friend Lauren, she kind of piped in. She goes, well, I really like them. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Can we change the subject? And I remember wanting to get so irritated at her because I was like, why would you not talk shit with us? And then I would just remember thinking, one, I can at least count on Lauren. Like if I'm absent and everybody's talking bad about me, she's going to have my back. And two, the only reason why I don't like these people is because they're super hot. They make a good amount of money. They have beautiful children, like beautiful home, live a beautiful life. Like everything is going quite well for them. And I am seethingly jealous. And so from that point forward, anytime I started to feel that jealous feeling, I'll just call myself out. And it's honestly become like a funny thing. Like I remember the next time that same couple came up, immediately being like, yeah, I don't like them because I'm jealous. And it became funny. And now it's like a thing, like a known thing that I'm super, super envious. But yeah, I think go the other way with it. Like, just call yourself out for your jealousy or for when you were wrong or something, and then make a joke out of it. And then that'll take the sting out of it. And it will also make it a little bit funny. And if you can make your friends laugh, then who cares if you were wrong? So, there's a fun tip for you. Just try it. Try it. You can get away with anything if you're like kind of in on the joke, I think. Maybe not. Maybe that's incorrect. But we can move on. Number 8, memories change every time you recall them. Your memories aren't locked files. Each time you remember something, your brain subtly rewrites it. Over time, the story can drift. I'm sure that's true. I've actually known this for a long time, that every time you remember something, you're actually remembering the last time you remembered it, if that makes sense. And so I've kind of wondered, like, the things from childhood that you've thought of 5,000 times. I'm like, how have I accidentally rewritten that? And do we have any grasp on reality? Like, even here sitting and talking about all of this, I'm like, do we have any idea what the hell is actually going on? Like, we are just in some weird hodgepodgey simulation. Like, we edit in real time. We have no idea what has happened in our past because we're rewriting our memories. Like, our brain is filling in the blanks no matter what we do. So do we have any clue, like us humans? Is there does anybody know what's going on? Can you tell me if you do? Because I don't think everything is what it seems. We're in some weird freaky video game simulation computer spiritual world. This isn't real. Nothing's real. Mushroom trip. Nothing is what it seems like ever. So, just I guess do your best. I don't know what to tell you. Do your best. I don't think things are as serious as we make it either. I know there's some pretty heinous shit going on in the world, but I don't think things are quite as intense as we like to make them. I could be wrong though. I'm wrong about a lot of stuff. So, tell me if I'm wrong. I'd love to hear it. Okay, number 9. Fear can be learned instantly, but unlearned slowly. Touch a hot stove once and your brain installs a permanent nope button, but unlearning fears takes repetition and time. I definitely think that's true. I will say the main thing that I'm thinking when I'm reading this, though, is the nope button, I think, gets installed more frequently than we realize. Because if you use like the hot stove, very common hot stove metaphor or simile or example, I think that it's very, very easy to think, yeah, of course, your brain's going to go to physical danger. And really, a hot stove is often pretty easy to scope out. I think it's more so the emotional interactions, especially when we're young, that our brain is installing note buttons for, and we don't realize it until we're older, or maybe we never realize it. I think it's a lot of the like social settings, emotional traumas that we would have to be much more careful about because they go more unnoticed. Because there are, based on your brain chemistry and your upbringing, your parentage, your social settings, the environment that you live in, there could be quite a few metaphorical hot stove scenarios that you just aren't registering because there are conversations or situations that will give you that same anxiety, visceral fight or flight response. But because it was like some girl that we went to school with, we don't register it as a hot stove, and it totally is. And you could go on forever without ever revisiting that and thinking through that or healing that. And I do agree that healing or unlearning these fears or these scary things, these hot stove moments, I do think that takes some time and some effort and some repetition. And it's hard to isolate all of them because it wasn't an actual hot stove. Obviously, the very outward, overt physical dangers of the world, the brain is going to remember those and say, yeah, not for me. I think it's more the conversational hot stove moments that you got to really, really take the time to unlearn and heal. So, what kind of hot stoves do you have in your life?